Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. On this Monday night we have the beginning of the FA Cup fifth round and we are here at the Coventry Building Society Arena as Coventry welcomes 6th tier Maidstone for a battle to reach the quarter-finals. Coventry come into this game off the back of a second home loss of the season in the league after a first half battering which saw Mark Robins' side lose 3-0 to Preston North End. It leaves them just outside the playoffs, but there is still everything to play for. And in the FA Cup, they have got beyond League One Oxford in the third round, and it took a replay in the fourth round to get beyond fellow Championship side Sheffield Wednesday. But now, for the history makers, after playing in 7 rounds before to get to this stage, Maidstone find themselves in the last 16 of the FA Cup. If they win tonight, they would become just the second non-league side to reach the last 8 of this competition in the last 109 years, and would be the first ever team outside and would be the first team ever outside the top 5 English leagues to reach the FA Cup quarter final. This is the first ever meeting between the two, and Coventry have to be very wary of the challenge ahead, as Maidstone have knocked out third place Ipswich of the Championship away from home in the previous round. So, on Maidstone's biggest ever day, will they defy all odds and progress to the last 8, or will Coventry burst that bubble tonight? It is like the Ipswich game for Maidstone. It is a win-win. They cannot lose in this game. If they are defeated, then the fact they've even got to this stage will be applauded and congratulated. But if they can somehow make it beyond this round of the FA Cup and get to the last 8, that would be absolutely incredible. As mentioned there, they would become the first team ever outside the top 5 English leagues to reach the FA Cup quarter-finals. And the teams they've beaten as well to get to this stage of the competition is actually very impressive as well. That can't be forgotten. You know, in the first round proper, they did have an easier game against Cheshire United, but the second round they were playing against Barrow of League Two, beat them 2-1 at home. Barrow at the moment, or at that moment in time, were in fantastic form in League Two, and then in the third round they got beyond a Stevenage side in League One, who are also doing really well this year, aiming towards the playoffs in that division, and then in the fourth round to go away to Ipswich, who again I think were second place at the time, and to beat them 2-1, go a goal ahead, be pegged back, and then go back ahead again. It's been a really impressive run. They have had difficult fixtures, and they've had games where you'd probably expect them to be beaten, but they've come out on top in every one so far. They are yet to play a replay as well in this FA Cup run. This is their 8th game in the FA Cup, and it is their 6th away from home. They've only played 2 home games in this run, and they came in the second round to Barrow and the third round to Stevenage. So they are used to being on their travels in this competition this season, and that will probably help them tonight go into another big ground in the Championship. The Coventry Building Society Arena holds just over 32,500. I presume it won't be completely full, but it'll be around definitely over 20,000 fans more than likely in the ground. So the fact that they have been playing away from home, especially the game against Ipswich, where that was a pretty packed out crowd, it will more than likely help them in this game, you know, because all the players will be used to playing in these kind of atmospheres, the size of the ground. They've already got a taste for it, and that the behind the goal to the right as well. It is full of Maidstone supporters. It is a 5-hour round trip for Maidstone from Kent to get themselves up here to Coventry, and it is a game which could live long in the memory. It will live long in the memory, but it will be one of the biggest FA Cup victories ever for a team like Maidstone, who are currently eighth at the moment in the National League South. They have dropped a few places since they played Ipswich, but the form hasn't been ridiculously bad. They've actually won 3 games in a row after Ipswich, but they have drawn and lost the last 2. So they are still in and around the playoff areas, despite not being in the positions to reach the playoffs at the moment. But you can just let them off slightly for having their minds elsewhere, these Maidstone players, with this Coventry game up and coming, and it's here now for them. and we'll go through both sides now. We'll start with the home side of Coventry. It's Ben Wilson in goal, who has regained his spot back as the first choice goalkeeper here at Coventry after sitting on the bench for 17 games, but has returned for the last 2. But he has been playing every minute so far in the FA Cup. It's going to be back 4. At right back is Joel Latibaldia. At left back is going to be Jake Bidwell, and the 2 centre halves are 2 summer signings: Bobby Thomas from Burnley and Liam Kitchen from Barnsley. 2 holding midfield, it's going to be Liam Kelly, who's making just his 12th appearance in the season, his second in the FA Cup. His other FA Cup appearance was a late sub in the replay against Sheffield Wednesday. Just behind the striker is going to be number 45, Casey Palmer. On the left wing is their record fee signing of Hadji Wright. On the right is going to be Fabio Tavares, who's making just his second start of the season. And up front leading the line will be Ellis Sims, who's just got the 6 goals so far this season. In the Championship, 3 in his last 6. But in the FA Cup, he is yet to score, but has started twice. Didn't start the last game against Sheffield Wednesday in the replay, but started the 2 games before that. For Maidstone, it is 2 changes from the starting 11 that played against Ipswich. It is the same goalkeeper of Lucas Covalan, the 32-year-old Brazilian. It's also going to be a back 5. At right wing back is going to be former Ipswich player George Fowler. At left wing back is a returning Harry Cipriano, who's been out for the last 4 games since the Ipswich match. 3 at the back of Reece Greenidge, Sam Bone and Rafe Brown, who returns to the starting 11 as he was suspended for that game against Ipswich in the 4th round. It's going to be 2 in the midfield of Sam Corn, the goal scorer in the last 3 rounds, got the winner against Ipswich. He'll play alongside Jacob Berkeley Agyapong, who joined the club back in December of 2023. On the right is going to be Liam Saul, who's also a summer signing. He's yet to score in the FA Cup proper in his career. On the left is going to be Lamar Reynolds, who scored and assisted in that game against Ipswich in the last round. And leading the line up front will be Manny Duku, who was brought in late January from Manchester 62, a Gibraltar side. He got 6 goals in 6 Gibraltar League appearances, but since his return to England, he has played 6 games for Maidstone, just the 1 start against Aveley, which was their last game that they played, which came last Monday, and he played a full 90 against Ipswich, but he's still yet to score for Maidstone. What a day it could be for him to get his first Maidstone goal. They are the 2 starting 11s. The 2 sets of players are emerging onto the field of play, led out by the referee tonight of Michael Salisbury, and he has his 2 assistants of Lee Betts and Mark Stevens, with the 4th official of Andrew Kitchen. There is no VAR in this game as it is at a Championship ground. So will that go in the favour of Maidstone, or will that go against them? Hopefully we get a refereeing display with little mistakes, so we can not focus on any kind of refereeing controversy, but we can focus on the achievement of this Maidstone squad to get to this point. And it is pretty much the same squad that was here for the game against Ipswich. The only real people missing is Paul Appiah, the centre-back on loan from Leicester. He misses out due to picking up a red card in Maidstone's last league game against Aveley. But bar that, it is pretty much the same squad as Ipswich, just the 2 changes, with club captain Gavin Hoyt at right wing-back dropping to the bench. And obviously, of course, they'll be without Paul Appiah, the centre-back, due to his red card that he picked up in their last league game. And if there is any kind of upper hand for Maidstone, it is the fact their last game that they played was last Monday, so they've had a week to prepare. It was a 2-0 defeat in the league to Aveley. Goals came in the 56th and the 86th minute, but that has been a week of preparation. But for Coventry, they last played on Friday night to Preston at home, which they were also beaten as well by 3-0. That is their 2nd league defeat of the season at home for Coventry. Their other one was in late October against West Brom. So they're both coming into this game off the back of negative results, but Coventry have had a lot longer to prepare, get up to full fitness, really understand how Coventry play tactically and how they could combat that and how they can beat this Mark Robbins side, who will be fully aware that everything is against them for Coventry. No one will really want them to win other than Coventry supporters, and they're expected to win, especially at home as well. So all the pressure is on Coventry, and if there is anyone who can lead them with a still and calm mind, it probably will be Mark Robins. Whenever I've seen him interviewed, he seems very relaxed, very calm. And at the end of the day, I said this during the Ipswich game, and I say it again, a game like this, it's down to the players. The manager picks the starting 11 and they set them out tactically, but at the end of the day, if these Coventry players can't go out and dispatch the plan, the tactical plan, and not win this game, then it's on them. The manager can't control exactly how they play, but he can do what he can tactically, but Coventry's quality should just shine through. But it's not always the case when the players aren't on it, so it'll be interesting to see how this game swings, because we've got to remember Maidstone did slightly ride their luck in that game against Ipswich at the beginning. I know, remember Ipswich hitting the post, having a deflected shot just over the crossbar. So they rode their luck slightly, but it led them on to go on and win. And on the counter-attack, they had 2 chances, Maidstone, and they scored them both. Still need to be as prolific like they were in the game at Ipswich. So it will pretty much need to be a copy and paste performance, which is hard to bring to the table because it's a completely different game. It's a different date. It's probably a different feeling now. So they've just got to be careful here, Maidstone, that they just try their best to replicate that performance against Ipswich. But I think the most important part of this game for me will be the first 10 or 15 minutes. If Maidstone can get through the first 10 or 15 minutes and can keep it at 0-0, then they will give themselves the best opportunity possible to go through in this game. But if they don't survive the first 10 or 15 minutes, we could be in for a long game here. As we are about to get underway, it'll be Maidstone to kick off, kicking right to left. Coventry left to right in this historic fixture, the biggest day in Maidstone's history. They kick us off, and the ball goes back here to their number 5 of George Fowler, headed on by Berkeley. Agyapong deflects off a Coventry player, and it's a Maidstone throw-in on the far side, inside the Coventry half, and it'll be taken here on the far side by Wraith Brown. Launches the ball forward. Can't find Reynolds. Dealt with by Kitchen and cleared by Bidwell. Into the sky it goes. Helped forward by Torp. Ball as far as Corn, who goes forward towards Willamar Reynolds on the edge of the area. Dealt with there by Lati Baudia. Goes back to his goalkeeper there of Wilson, who clears it first time. And the ball drops out to the right to Tavares. Maidstone are open here. Casey Palmer. Pass deflects to the right to Ellis Sims, who is tackled there by Cipriano. But his touch falls here to the right-hand side to Victor Torp. And it's Coventry on the ball in the Maidstone half. Do apologise for that noise. As it is Coventry on the ball, on the halfway line here, with Liam Kitchen, their number 15. With right back Lati Baudia, as Maidstone have just got themselves comfortable in the game just after a first 30 seconds where they're in the Coventry half, but they left themselves slightly open just before, but nothing came of it. It was dealt with in the area by Cipriano, but they've got some more defending to do here as the ball goes in, deflects off the head of Sims, but goes backwards and away for Maidstone, and it's cleared away up towards Dooku. It's nowhere near the striker, so it's Coventry to play it out to the right-hand side by Thomas. Even with his electric pace there, Fabio Tavares couldn't keep it in. And it's a throw-in for Maidstone in their left-back area, and he'll be taken by their left wing-back of Harry Cipriano, who has missed the last 4 games for Maidstone. He's not featured very rarely since the Ipswich game, but he was one of their best performers in that left-back area, as his tackle there on Tavares goes out for a Coventry throw-in. And he goes back to the halfway line here to Liam Kitchen. But of course, it's very easy to notice the size of this game for Maidstone, and their manager in the build-up said we have to prepare for what is going to be a historic occasion for our football club. So for Maidstone, they don't need to be told twice the size of this game and the fact that this opportunity may never arise again, or if it does, it probably won't be for a very long time. So they need to realise that, yes, they're not expected to win, but at the end of the day, they might not get chances like this again, so they've got to try and take it as best as possible. As the ball goes forward here to the left to Palmer, turns away from one Maidstone play, but then tackled by another, but then it's played through here towards Hadji Wright, who can't quite get the ball away, but it drops to him in the box, and he shoots towards goal, and that's a huge save from Kovalan, and the ball goes back across. It's overhit, and it'll go through to this near side here towards Lati Baudia, who can't quite keep the ball in, but that's the first biggest chance, and that is a vital save there by Lucas Kovalan. It fell to Hadji Wright quite fortunately as he was tackled there, but then as Reece Greenidge tried to clear it, it deflected off his own player of Bone, straight to Hadji Wright, who chested it down nicely and struck with his left foot with power, and it was going into the back of the net if it wasn't for the save of Kovalan, who was vital for the Maidstone win in the game against Ipswich. He won man of the match, I think, in that game. He was unstoppable, it seemed. Who do you support? I support Stockport County of League 2. I do also support a Premier League team, but I don't say who because I just tend to not give that away. But yeah, the main reason I support Stockport County is because it was just more accessible. It was it was easier to go to those games, and I've been a supporter now for like 5 years, season ticket. So yeah, and I just prefer going to League 2, National League games, the lower leagues. It's just I just think it's better. I just prefer it. I think I've mentioned this a few times in recent streams, but I just think there's too many keyboard warriors in the Premier League. The supporters who never go to games, don't understand it at all, and they try and talk this big game, and it just does me head in. But on lower league Twitter, you get the real banter and the real back and forth. As it is Coventry on the ball on the halfway line here with Torp, tackled strongly by Corn. That's a brilliant challenge. Then Sam Bone goes down, and it will be a free kick for Maidstone on halfway, taken quickly over the top there, out to the left by Corn to Reynolds, and he'll get there ahead of Lati Baldia. Reynolds on the ball, it poked away from him by the Coventry right back, and it's a throw-in right next to the corner flag for Maidstone. That's a brilliant sliding challenge from Corn. That is seriously impressive. Got the ball as clean as you like. As Cipriano receives the ball back from the throw-in, tackled by Tavares. It'll be another throw-in for Maidstone here in the final third on this near side. It'll be taken by Cipriano, formerly a Cyprian under-21s international. Throws it here into Berkeley Agyapong, and here is the number 7 for Maidstone. Goes back to the number 15 of Sam Bone. On the halfway line now is Greenidge, who will bring the ball forward here in a bit of space. Plays the pass to Reynolds, who goes into the midfield to Corn. Uses his body shape well there to take the ball away from Wright. And then it's taken off him here by Liam Sol, who plays it forward down the right. It'll be chased down by Berkeley Agyapong, but it will be Bidwell to get there first. And it'll be Berkeley Agyapong to block his clearance. And it'll be a Coventry throw-in on the far side towards their left-back position. Not a bad bit of football there from Maidstone. It didn't last many passes, but you can see what they were trying to do, find the spaces in the Coventry half. As it's Kelly, their captain, back to Palmer. It's now Bidwell at left back. Across it goes to the edge of the 18-yard box here to number 4 of Bobby Thomas, who came through Everton and Crewe in their youth systems. As the ball goes over the top down the right here to Tavares. Cipriano will chase it. He'll get there first, but can only concede the corner. Does seem to have some pace there on the right-hand side. Fabio Tavares, who's only making his 4th ever start for Coventry. He's been at the club now for over 3 years, joining from Rochdale in 2021. Yeah, not a glory hunter, no. The Premier League team, I support, the stadium's like 15, 20 minutes away, and Stockport County is a little bit closer. But Torp glides the ball to the far post, well caught by Kovalan. Really good handling by the Brazilian goalkeeper, and he wants the counter-attack. He kicks it out quickly. It goes through towards, I think they were looking for Sol. Can't find him. Deflects forward to Tavares. Switches it out to the left here. Hadji Wright, 25 yards from goal. Finds Palmer. He's got the overlap of Bidwell. Finds him. He crosses in. Dealt with by Cipriano. Headed on by Corn. Only as far as Kelly, who's tackled there by their number 11. Number 11? Oh, he's changed the number. Sorry. Manny Duku is number 11. I've got him down as number 9 here because that was his number for the Ipswich game. As Maidstone clear as the heavy touch from Palmer can be dealt with there by Corn. It'll go through here to Bobby Thomas at the back for Coventry, who will head it back to the goalkeeper here of Ben Wilson, who's making his 110th appearance for Coventry since joining on a free from Bradford in July 2019. It's out to the left back of Bidwell. Down the line to Hadji Wright. Has he timed his run? Yes, he has, and the cross goes in. It deflects off No, the flag has gone up. It did deflect off George Fowler for Maidstone there, but as Haji Wright made his run, he'd just gone slightly early. It would have been a tight call there, but the assistant referee's flagged for offside. So we're just over 8 minutes in, and it's Coventry who have had the one major chance in the box, and it fell to them quite fortunately after a Maidstone deflection came off one of their own players straight to Haji Wright, who shot from around 12 yards out. Was well saved by Coverland down low to his right. As he sends this ball forward here, header won by Bidwell, flicked over his head by Haji Wright, nodded down by Sims to Torp. Tavares is making a run in behind, he's going to look for him. It's dealt with by Cipriano for the first ball, and he'll get on the second. And he plays it into the midfield here, and Maidstone can try and get the ball forward, but a misplaced pass is intercepted by Kelly. Palmer through for Sims, there's a slip in the defence of Maidstone, and Sims slots it home. And the flag stays down. And 9 minutes in, it's Coventry with the lead. It was a poor pass in the midfield from Maidstone, which when they play the quality of a Coventry, more unlikely than not, they will be punished, and they have been through Ellis Sims, who gets his first goal of the season in this FA Cup. It's his first ever FA Cup goal. And it was just a really poor pass in that midfield there by Greenidge, who was looking for Berkeley Agyapong. Went straight to Kelly, who got it forward to Palmer. In midway side the Maidstone half, he slipped the ball through into the area, looking for Sims. As it was played through to Coventry's number 9, there was a slip by Fowler. He got in front of Cipriano and beat Coverland to it. Had his shot between the legs of the goalkeeper. And just under 10 minutes in here, it is Coventry 1, Maidstone 0. And the upset looks further and further away now for Maidstone, who'd got off to a pretty decent start, really. He had a little bits of possession here and there. As in the box with Berkeley, Agyapong took away from him by the clearance of Bobby Thomas. Deflection to the sky towards Sims, who controls it out to Fabio Tavares on the right-hand side. Now to Ellis Sims, back out to the right to Tavares. Good 1-2. He's on one-on-one with Cipriano, tackled by the Cyprian wing-back. And it's now with the number 14, Cipriano, who finds Bone in the midfield. Back to Cipriano, midway side his own half there on the near side. Bone lifts the ball forward into the Coventry half, where Dooku can touch it down for Corn. Then out to the left here towards Reynolds, who will chase it down with his pace, but it's not quite quick enough to keep that one in. And it is a throw-in for Coventry, taken quickly by Lati Baldia, and it's now with Bobby Thomas on the edge of the area for Coventry. But Coventry are 71 places above Maidstone in the football pyramid. See, that's the gap we're working with here. But for Maidstone, with before tax on their FA Cup earnings, they've already won £700,000. That is absolutely huge for a club like Maidstone, who are in the 6th tier of English football. So it's great to see them benefiting financially from this FA Cup run, as it's Lamar Reynolds on the left wing here. Inside the Coventry box, on the outside of Lati Baldia, chops onto his right foot, lifts across into the box, to the far post, Sol to Corn. It's taken away from him by Palmer, but Corn can recycle the ball out wide after winning it from Palmer. It's now with Sol. Can he cross the ball? He's one-on-one with Bidwell, takes him on. Great bit of skill. Cross goes in, far post, it's the header that's flicked away by Lati Baldia. It went towards Dooku at the far post, the 6'2" Dutchman. It's a brilliant bit of skill by Sol to take on Bidwell, and it's a good cross. And he so nearly won it ahead of Lati Baldia, but that's a great header from the Jamaican makeshift right back for the home side tonight. As Cipriano in the area pulls it across, and it's had to be dealt with at the near post by Thomas. But I think a flag's gone up for offside. So it'll be a free kick for Coventry. But Maidstone are showing what they can bring to the table tonight. Despite going down early, they are still willing to get forward here because they understand they've got nothing to lose. Just to get to this stage alone of the FA Cup is something that's quite remarkable and something we might not see again. But Maidstone are the lowest ranked side to reach the last 16 of the FA Cup since Blythe Spartans in 1978. So runs like this just don't happen very often. And I think the fact that they've had to play 7 games before this to get to this stage just shows how hard these lower league teams have to work to get to even the first round proper. You've got to go through 2 or 3 qualifying rounds. As Coventry play the ball forward low to Ellis Sims on the halfway line. Works out to the right here to Tavares, who's on his own on the near side here. He'll run forward as he's got Cipriano in front of him for Maidstone. Chops back and finds Latibardia. And it's now with Kelly into the midfield to Palmer. Gets away from one Maidstone player and then plays it through here for Ellis Sims, who takes the shot on and rolls it into the bottom right corner. The flag stays down. And Ellis Sims, 13 minutes in, already has a double. It's been pretty simple, really, for Coventry to cut through this Maidstone side. And it's been Ellis Sims to finish both chances. Good ball by Kelly to find Palmer in between the lines. And as Palmer looked forward again, same spot as he played it through the first time. For Sims, midway side the Maidstone half. It went out to the left side of the box where Ellis Sims was latching on towards it. Hadji Wright was also looking at taking the shot on, but Sims got there first, swinging his left foot to the ball, shooting across goal, low beyond Coverland, into that bottom right corner. And just under 15 minutes in here, it is Coventry 2, Maidstone 0. Quite easy in the end, really. You don't want to make out like it was some really impressive goal. It was a decent ball into Palmer by Kelly to find him in the pocket of space, but the time that Palmer had to sprint forward ever so slightly and then find the pass through just wasn't good enough from Maidstone. They can't be allowing a player like Palmer to have so much space in their own half. And he's picked out two brilliant passes, and they've both been finished by the same player of Ellis Sims. Ball goes over the top here towards Hadji Wright, cut out by the head of Fowler. All as far as the Coventry left there to Palmer, into Bidwell, in the area. Can the cross be right? It's deep one towards Hadji Wright. It's just gone over his head here. And Cipriano can deal with it for Maidstone towards the corner flag. He's got Hadji Wright battling for the ball. Cipriano kicks it off Tavares, who was coming over to try and get the ball as well, and wins a goal kick for his side. Don't want to write Maidstone off too early, but I think it might be a step too far, this one. It is unfortunate they've come up against this Coventry side, who are usually very good at home. They've only lost twice in 17 at home this season in the Championship, losing 2 games to West Brom and then in their last game to Preston. But more often than not, they're very strong here, and it's hard. They're a team that's hard to beat, and Maidstone are just finding that challenge a little bit too hard. It's Casey Palmer switches out to the right towards Tavares, cut out by the header of Cipriano on the edge of the box, and he diverts that header to his goalkeeper of Lucas Coverland, who in fairness couldn't do a lot about the 2 goals. He made a good early save in the 3rd minute on Hadji Wright, but couldn't keep out the 2 Sims attempts as Maidstone go long towards Dooku. Header won by Thomas, controlled down by Reynolds to Berkeley Agyapong. That's now to the left centre half here of number 15, Sam Bone, who was born in Malaysia but moved to England at the age of 5 as the Coverland kick isn't great. Straight to Tavares on halfway, whose pass backwards is picked up by Reynolds. It's an interesting decision to go backwards there, Tavares, and they've worked it to Sol, who is tripped by Kitchen. No, he isn't. The referee waves that away. And Bobby Thomas in the left-back position can clear for Coventry. It's a low ball, and it's straight to Fowler, who goes forward here to Sol for Maidstone. The cross goes into the box, and it's a header away by Kitchen. And the header finds Tavares, but he can't keep it away from the Maidstone shirts. And inside the Coventry half, it's Maidstone on the ball on this near side with Cipriano. Forward to Reynolds, who tries to turn away from Latibardia, but he's tackled by the Jamaican, who plays the ball forward to Casey Palmer. He's going to look for Ellis Sims again, but the ball's too heavy. It'll be dealt with by Coverland. The dream is over. Well, maybe, possibly, but let's try and keep the hope alive. If Maidstone get one back somehow, then they're only one behind, but yeah, it's looking a lot less likely the dream, especially when they're giving the ball away that easily. Straight to Tavares, 1-2 with Palmer in the final third. Tavares with a back heel through to Palmer, who gets in the area, tries to shoot. It's blocked by Corn, and it's a corner for Coventry on this near side. Come on, Maidstone. Malaysia, yeah, born in Malaysia. Sam Bone, who did play in Ireland for 6 years before leaving Ireland to join Maidstone from Dundalk in January last year. But a good link-up play there between Tavares and Palmer, but good defensive work by Corn to block the Palmer shot at the near post. As it'll be an outswinger from the right foot of Torp. Glides it in towards the far post, headed forward towards Lati Baudia, whose shot is dealt with there by Fowler. And he'll fall to the edge of the box here for Coventry with Casey Palmer, who on his right foot's going to strike from afar. It's blocked, and he'll deflect to Lamar Reynolds, whose pass out wide is asking too much of Liam Sol. And it'll be a Coventry throw-in on the halfway line. Pass needed to be a lot better than that, really. Looking for the number 16 of Liam Sol, who can play central midfield, but he's been used out wide in this FA Cup run at the moment. But for Maidstone, who are currently 8th at the moment, they are on the same points as 7th place. And 7th place is their last playoff spot. So they are literally on the nose for playoffs. And that will definitely be their focus after this game ends, as it looks like they could be heading out of the FA Cup. But last season was one to forget. They were in the National League, the 5th tier, but finished bottom of the league just on 25 points. They were 25 points off safety in the end, and they were 9 points off Scunthorpe, who were relegated with them in 23rd. So just an overall bad season. And under George Elokobi, the now manager, he didn't win any of the 19 games he was in charge of in the National League, but they trusted him to get this team high in the table in the league below, and he's obviously done that, sitting in 8th place at the moment and somehow taking them on this FA Cup journey. It's Coventry on the ball with Torp down the right-hand side to Tavares, back to Lati Baudia, who's just about 10 yards inside the Maidstone half, completes a 1-2 with Kelly, still with number 22, Joel Lati Baudia, who's just hit the 100 appearance mark in the Championship over the last couple of weeks. Came through at Manchester City, Lati Baudia, before leaving for Swansea and then diverting to Coventry at the start of this season. But it looks like it's going to be a lot for Maidstone here to deal with. And it is Torp on the ball. Tackled by Berkeley Agyapong. It'll deflect towards the byline here in the Maidstone half, where Kipriano deals with it. Plays a 1-2 here with Bone, who clears it forward into the sky towards Sol. Chested down by Lati Baudia to Kelly, who then goes back into his own half here to Kitchen. Clears it forward here. Fantastic pass for Palmer. Gets away from Greenidge, and the clearance there off of a Maidstone player. Deflects off Greenidge back towards his own goal. Loops over the crossbar, and it's a corner they've given away. Quite unfortunate there. The clearance from George Fowler just went straight off the head of Greenidge. And Coverland just had to make sure that that was heading over the crossbar. But it's an opportunity Coventry won't dismiss. They will try and take full advantage of this to get a 3-goal lead to really put themselves out of sight in this one. Torp again towards the far post. Again, Coverland's coming forward and he catches it. Brilliant goalkeeping. You know, not long ago, Coverland was playing in the likes of League 1, League 2 in the National League. So he is a goalkeeper who's usually playing at a higher level than the 6th tier. As they try and counter-attack quickly, Reynolds goes down over the challenger Kelly, just towards the Maidstone right, about 30 yards from goal, probably too far for a shot, but a superb angle and distance to get across in the area here to try and put Coventry under a little bit of pressure. It's given away by captain Liam Kelly, who just simply hasn't been playing a lot of football recently. He hadn't featured in any of the previous 23 Championship games for Coventry before coming on in their last defeat against Preston. But the 34-year-old captain here has given Maidstone an opportunity. It's going to be taken by the number 7 of Berkeley Agyapong. He wanted to go short to Lamar Reynolds as a bit of a free kick tactic, but the referee wasn't ready for play to carry on. So they're going to just, I think, release this into the box here. It's actually going to be Berkeley Agyapong to leave it for the right foot of Sam Corn, who will cross it into the far post. Greenidge is alone. He tries to play it across goal, but it comes off the back of the head of Thomas, and he'll be brought away here in a right-back position for Ellis Sims. Forward it goes to Tavares. Can't keep it away there from Berkeley Agyapong. And it's Maidstone back on the ball, just inside their own half here with Liam Sol. Goes out to the right to Fowler. It's now on the edge of the 18-yard box with their goalkeeper, Coverland. Out to the left of Sam Bone. Back to the goalkeeper of Coverland in the 18-yard area. Going to take his time clearing this forward out to the Maidstone left. It'll be Kyprianou to win the header, but straight inside on the halfway line to Torp for Coventry. And now back in their own half here with the number 4 of Bobby Thomas, who's making his first start in the FA Cup this season. Bobby Thomas came off the bench in 2 of the previous 3 they've played in the competition, as they had to play 2 games against Sheffield Wednesday, as they couldn't get beyond them in the first game at Hillsborough, but battered them 4-1 in the replay to get them to this point of the competition. It's a free kick on the far side for Coventry, just inside their own half here. Hadji Wright brought down. But for Coventry, this is also a huge moment for them. The last time they reached the 5th round, they were defeated by Brighton in 2018. And the last quarter-final they did reach was in 2009, where they were beaten at home 2-0 by Chelsea. So it's also a great opportunity for Coventry to reach heights of this competition they don't usually reach, as the Tavares pass on this near side, straight out of play. Maidstone throwing midway inside their own half here. But after today, for Maidstone, they'll be back on the road in the league at the weekend, having to go down to Dover in the National League South. It's a throw-in, goes straight to Kelly on halfway, but he's passed out to the right, can't be controlled by Tavares. There'll be another Maidstone throw-in in the same position as the last. As it'll be taken here by Sam Bone, long throwing down the line, flicked on by Dooku. Can't find Sol. Dealt with here by Torp, who goes back to Thomas, who will go to the goalkeeper, Ben Wilson. Forward to the edge of the box here to Kitchen. His pass intercepted. Corn, this is a huge opportunity. Can Maidstone make the most of it? Corn on the edge of the area. He's got Kelly next to him, so plays it out to the right here. Maidstone still come forward. Ball in by Fowler. It's a teasing one. He goes to the far post here. Sol takes a touch. Can he get a shot away? Towards the far corner. Can't wrap his foot around it, and it's a straight shot that goes wide. Boy, it's an opportunity that Maidstone have really got to take if they actually want to try and get back in this game. It was Liam Kitchen who gave it away for Coventry, and Corn was the one to bring it forward, and eventually the cross went to Sol on the left-hand side. But if he could have just bent the shot towards the corner, then we could have had a different result, but he just hit it straight in the end. And Coventry survive a slight scare there from the away side. And there is George Elakobi, the Maidstone manager, taking charge of his 69th game, where they've won 29 and lost 26. As Maidstone try and get forward here with a ball from Brown. But it's dealt with by Torp, who plays it in behind for Sims, who just peeled out to the left-hand side. He's going to try and beat Brown to it. He will get there, Ellis Sims. Has to hold the ball up and plays it inside to Torp, who's touched into the areas, cut out by Greenidge. It's now Berkeley Agipong for Maidstone, who go out to the left to find Sol, who will bring it forward. He crosses the halfway line here on the near side. He just cuts inside beyond Kelly and then goes back to the halfway line here to Corn. A bit of time on the ball now for the away side, as they're in their own half here with Bone. Back to the goalkeeper of Coverland, who only played the once last season in the FA Cup, and that was for Chesterfield in the replay against West Brom. It was a 4-0 defeat. As the ball's dealt with there by Kitchen. Torp out to the left to Bidwell. Brings it forward for Coventry. Forward towards Palmer. Cut out well, though, by Bone, who fires it out to the left here to Sol, who controls it well. 1-on-1 with Lati Baudia. Sol onto his right foot. Plays it to Dooku. Shot's blocked. It'll drop here for Maidstone as the ball's in by Corn. Header away by Lati Baudia. Corn again will get there, though. He's battling with Casey Palmer, and he loses out, and the counter-attack's on. Sims making a run in behind. Palmer will go out to the left instead to Hadji Wright. Enters the area, 1-on-1 with Brown, onto his right foot. Wright strikes it, it deflects, and it goes wide. And you can't say Maidstone aren't giving this a go. They are trying to get forward and score a goal, but it is leaving themselves a little exposed at the back. But it was dealt with that time, and Coventry can only do as well as winning a corner. So it's a Coventry set piece. If you're taken again by Torp, who is usually the set piece taker in this Coventry side. Referee just wants a word with a couple of the players in the box, with Fowler and Latibardia. But it'll be taken by their Danish centre midfielder, Victor Torp. The January signing. In it goes to the 6-yard box. It's flicked away by a Maidstone player. And it'll be a corner on the opposite side. Kovlan was coming for it there. But Wraith Brown thought it was best to deal with it himself, not taking any risks. Good header there by Wraith Brown. He's been at Maidstone for quite some time now. Joined in September 2020 from Herne Bay. And spent a year out from February 2022 to 2023 with an ankle problem. But he's back now. When the ball goes in at the near post, it comes off Dooku last. And that'll be another Coventry corner. The Maidstone striker doing his defensive work there. But it'll be Victor Torp to put this in the box. Curled with pace, in it goes, header away. Still in the area though, dealt with by Fowler, volleyed by Tavares from 22 yards out. And it was aiming for the bottom left corner. It was always just being dragged wide there by the Coventry number 30. He's only ever scored once for Coventry previously in his career for the club. It's under half an hour in. Coventry lead 2-0. Really relaxing the pressure on themselves. But Maidstone have performed decently for the level of their squad and the quality they have. Agyapong challenges with Torp with the header. Drops to Dooku. Now Berkeley Agyapong, who can't keep it away from Torp. Tavares, back to Latibardia, midway side of the Coventry half, goes in towards the midfield, but it's cut out here by Sol. And again, Maidstone can get it forward. Dooku, back into Berkeley Agyapong. Back through towards Dooku, but it's cleared away by Kitchen. Bit of a loose ball there towards the edge of the 18-yard box. And Maidstone will deal with this clearance from Coventry with Wraith Brown. Pickpocketed though by Sims on the far side. And it's now Kelly. Forward to Palmer. Flicks it through towards Tavares. Cut out by Greenidge. Really good tackle. It leaves Tavares down, but it's a clean challenge. So play will continue with Palmer. Can't slip the ball through towards Sims. Dealt with there by George Fowler. It bounces a couple of times and eventually it drops for Latibardia, who latches onto the ball. Drives forward and is tripped there by Berkeley Agyapong. And that'll be a free kick for Coventry as Fabio Tavares has stayed down. It was a heavy challenge from Reece Greenidge, but he won the ball fair and square. Collided into the head of Greenidge, and surprised he came out okay on that one. But Tavares is back to his feet. But away from home, it's usually where Maidstone struggle in the league. They've lost 5 of their last 6 away games in the National League South, not winning any of the last 6, with losing 5 of them. Their last win away from home in the league was back in late November. So that Ipswich result was a little bit of an anomaly in terms of their away record this season. As the cross goes in, it deflects towards the near post where Sims can't quite get there before the ball goes out of play. And it'll be a Maidstone goal kick. And as well, in terms of creating more history for Maidstone, only 3 non-league sides have eliminated 4 Football League clubs in a single FA Cup campaign. Tottenham did it in 1900 to 01, Telford in 84-85 season, and Lincoln in the 16-17 season. So they have been taking out some big hitters. As Greenidge clears for Maidstone, deflected to Kelly by Torp. He's now in the back line of Coventry with Thomas. He's now across to the left to Liam Kitchen, who suffered playoff heartbreak last season for Barnsley. Liam Kitchen reaching the final, scoring himself in the semi-final of the playoffs against Bolton at home, but lost in the last minute of extra time to Sheffield Wednesday in the final at Wembley. Still Coventry on the ball on the halfway line here with Bobby Thomas. Forward and out to the right to Lati Baldia. Now down the line by Torp to Tavares, who keeps the ball in and passes it off a Maidstone player and wins a throw-in for his side, which has been taken quickly by Lati Baldia. Torp passes back to Thomas. It's now Liam Kelly, midway side the Maidstone half, looking out to the near side, finding Tavares. It's now back with Liam Kelly. Quick passing here from Coventry to try and move around this Maidstone block that they've got sat in front of them. Liam Kelly lays it off to his right 5 yards. Lati Baldia returns it to Kelly. Berkeley Agipong closing him down, but he works it to Lati Baldia on halfway. Then forward to Torp, who can't quite deflect it into Kelly. Brought away here by Bone, who's got Lamar Reynolds out to the left. He goes forward towards Dooku, who gets the touch ahead of the centre half for Thomas, but the loose ball drops to Lati Baldia. And then Kelly sends it over the top here. Nodded down by Brown, straight to Casey Palmer, who shoots from afar. Spilled by Coverland, and on the rebound, Ellis Sims scores his hat-trick. The flag once again has stayed down, and the goal will stand, and it's an Ellis Sims hat-trick. Before today, Ellis Sims had never scored in the FA Cup. Now he's got 3. All in the space of the first 35 minutes. Again, Maidstone giving the ball away cheaply, looking for their striker of Dooku. And Coventry went back to front almost immediately with a ball over the top by Kelly. Finding or looking for Haji Wright. It was nodded down instead by Greenidge. And headed down by Brown. Straight to Palmer, who literally at 25-30 yards out, just let fly with a powerful strike. It was a low-driven attempt towards the bottom left corner, and the pace was too much for Coverland. Could only spill it out into the space in front of him, where latching onto it was Ellis Sims, who smashed it into the back of the net. Easy finish for the former Everton striker. And here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, it is Coventry 3, Maidstone 0, and it is an Ellis Sims hat-trick. There's no real reason for Casey Palmer to take that shot on so far out, but it's worked in his favour, with the shot being saved and parried out straight to Ellis Sims. So technically, maybe, on the technicalities, it's a hat-trick of assists for Palmer, because he did set up the first 2, but it was his shot that time that set up Sims, not a pass of his own, as Greenidge goes long in behind for Maidstone, headed down by Thomas to Bidwell, the left-back, whose ball forward is cut out by Berkeley Agipong. And Maidstone can try and come forward here. Cipriano in the final third. On the left-hand side, crosses straight off the chest of Lati Baldia. And he'll roll out for a Maidstone throw-in. A bit of a waste there by Cipriano. Delivery needed to have a lot more quality than that. Cipriano takes a throw-in. Reynolds back to Cipriano. Tackled by Torp, who gets away from Berkeley Agipong. Plays it forward to Palmer. Tackled by Rafe Brown. Berkeley Agipong. Out to the left now is Sol. Plays it through into the box to Lamar Reynolds. He's got his back to goal. He's looking for his options. He lays it off to Cipriano on the near side. Into the box now to Sol. Can't shift onto his right foot, and the tackle from Palmer drops to Kelly. Back to Palmer, then Kelly again at a right back position. Lifts it forward to Torp perfectly. Touch is good. Passes even better. Into the space for Tavares, who will get onto it before it goes out of play. Tavares running at the Maidstone defence on the right-hand side in the final third towards the corner flag. He's been tackled by Bone. Good defending there. And it's cleared by Greenidge, who had a bit more time than he thought, but the clearance has gone all the way through towards Dooku. Headed forward by Thomas, straight to Lamar Reynolds in the centre circle, who will play it calmly to his right here to Sol. As Maidstone will slowly get forward here, as Coventry do have plenty of bodies back. It's now on their back line with Reece Greenidge. Out to the left to number 15, Sam Bone. Chelsea supporter. Sam Bone, a team they could have faced in this round, but obviously they've drawn Coventry instead as he goes over the top into the box here towards Dooku, who will keep it in on the byline. Forced away from goal, outside the area. Plays it into Cipriano, who's joined the attack here. Has to turn away from goal as he's being closed down there by Lati Baldia. And he goes towards the halfway line now to Bone. Into the midfield to Corn. Across to Rafe Brown at right centre-back on the halfway line. Touches away from Haji Wright. And been forced to go back to Coverland, who on the edge of the area clears it forward third time into the Coventry half towards Lamar Reynolds. Free header won there through Bobby Thomas. And as the clearance went forward by Coverland, there was a Maidstone player offside, so it's a free kick for the home team. But before today, Maidstone had a really good defensive record in the FA Cup as well, which was unfortunate. They'd only conceded 3 in their previous 7 in the FA Cup, keeping 4 clean sheets, but they've already doubled the amount they've conceded now with the 3 goals tonight, all from Ellis Sims. 5 yards inside the Maidstone half, it's Kelly. Forward to Sims, he's got his back to goal, so lays it back off into Kelly. Now up to the right to Tavares. Barnsley on the second half of the season. Sorry if there was a cut out there. Looks like we're back though, so apologies for that. As Bidwell crosses for Coventry into the area, not dealt with very well there by Bone, but it will fall for a Maidstone player. And they link up with Corn here. He goes back to George Fowler at right back. Down the line to Sol, tackled by Bidwell. Torp now, edge of the area, Sims, lays it back off the Torp, he will strike it himself, it's parried, but straight into his path so he can easily collect there. Lucas Coverland. Good 1-2 there between Sims and Torp, and it was the Danish midfielder to get his shot off. But it was saved quite comfortably in the end by Coverland. But it's Maidstone on the ball, midway side of their own half, with their captain for tonight, and that is Sam Corn, who has scored in the previous 3 rounds against Barrow, Stevenage and Ipswich. As they've given it away too easily there, Rafe Brown now following Haji Wright as he plays it back to the halfway line to Bobby Thomas. It's now Lati Baudia into the centre circle with the number 4 of Bobby Thomas, who spent the first half of the last season on loan at Bristol Rovers and then joined Barnsley for the second half of the season. Haji Wright from the left-hand side, cutting inside and playing it through into the area for Palmer, who, before he can get a shot away, it's poked away from him by Kiprianu to his goalkeeper. Good defending there by Harry Kiprianu, former Southend defender. It was a good run inside by Haji Wright and a good vision to find Palmer in the box, but his touch wasn't close enough to him and it was taken away from him by Kiprianu. And with their goalkeeper, Lucas Coverland, to send this one long. Deep into the Coventry half here towards Dooku. Deflects out to the left here to Lamar Reynolds, who's going to run at Lati Baudia. Goes on the outside of him. Can he keep it in with his heavy touch? He can. He'll work the cross into the far post. Flicked on by Bidwell. Down to Sol, who needs to find the pass. He lifts it in. It's a header won by Thomas. Still on the edge of the area though for Maidstone by Fowler, but he loses out in the end to Bidwell, who's fouled there in the box by George Fowler, and that'll be a free kick for the home side. Just a wasted chance again. I mean, I know they're in the 6th tier and they do lack that quality, but they've been given some openings in this game. They have, but they've just not been able to make the most of any of them really. Not really worked. Ben Wilson in the Coventry goal, but they have had openings. They have plenty of them in this first half. Some of them given to them by Coventry, who have been a little bit sloppy in possession at times. It's now on the halfway line with Palmer. Out to the left to Torp, who gets beyond Brown, but kicks it off Fowler. And that'll be a throw-in midway side the Maidstone half for Coventry. On the far side, taken quickly by Torp into Palmer. Then back into his own half here to the number 15 of Liam Kitchen, who's not scored in his previous 10 in the FA Cup, the Harrogate-born centre-half. As Lati Baudia overruns the touch, and it's a foul on Lamar Reynolds from Joel Lati Baudia. Just to overhit the touch there, and went straight through. Sorry, Liam Sol, apologies, who he brought down in the end. You definitely feel like there's a goal in it for Maidstone, I feel. Not saying they'll get back in the game at all, because I do think it's probably more unlikely over now. Coverland plays it to the left, the halfway line to Bone, back into Greenwich. Then to Coverland on the edge of the box. Slowly being closed down here by Sims. First time clearance by Coverland. It slices out to the far side. It's kept in by Fowler. Controlled by Brown and eventually cleared away on the edge of the box ahead of Sims. Headed forward by Bobby Thomas. And it'll be seen out by Fowler for a throw in a right back position for Maidstone. What a time it could be for Coventry, though. They'll be one game away from Wembley if they win tonight. There's Coventry. Give the ball away through Torp, but he wins it back off Berkeley Agyapong on the halfway line. Torp on the far side, playing it to left back Bidwell. Inside to Kelly on halfway. Bidwell into Palmer. Torp back to Bidwell. So now we're Kitchen. Some smooth football here from Coventry, as you would expect to see from them. But apparently it's around 5,000 Maidstone fans who have travelled tonight. Bidwell in the final third. The left back finds Torp. He goes to his right to Kelly. 25 yards out from goal. He's going to let fly himself. It's a pretty tame shot in the end. Comfortable save for Coverland. Kelly doesn't score very often for Coventry. He's only scored 3 times for them in his previous 172 for the club. So now with Maidstone in their defensive third with Bone. Goes back to the goalkeeper, Lucas Coverland. 2 minutes have added on time here at the Coventry Building Society Arena as Greenidge goes long for Maidstone, headed backwards by Kelly towards his own goal where Thomas has to head it back to his goalkeeper, and he had to get the weight of it right because Dooku was chasing that ball down. Victor Torp on the halfway line for Coventry on the ball, assessing his options. He's got time on the ball and goes back to Kitchen. Torp's pass deflects off Berkeley Agyapong, but back to Torp, header away by Brown, and it will go out of play for a Coventry throw-in on the far side just before the halfway line. Throwing goes back here to Liam Kitchen and across to the number 4 of Bobby Thomas. It's a bit of a change for Coventry because last season they were knocked out by League 2 Wrexham here by 4-3. So they were on the end of an upset last year, but they have made sure they were not to replicate that tonight. As it is Maidstone who can clear the ball here. It comes off Palmer, throwing for Maidstone inside their own half on the far side with their number 6, Wraith Brown, who was sent off on Boxing Day actually against Tunbridge, but it was revoked after it was a mistaken identity. So he got away with that red card in the end. I just thought it was quite funny. As Maidstone doing a free kick just inside the Coventry half on the right-hand side. Manny Dooku, the striker, the man fouled. And just before the break, it's a chance for Maidstone just to try and launch this as far as possible. I hope they don't go short. I'll just try and launch this as far as possible. Now he plays it across to the left here to Sol, then back out to the right towards Corn. Away from him by Bidwell, headed it away down the line to Palmer. And that's enough for the referee for the first half. Michael Salisbury blows for half-time here. And Maidstone, who haven't played that badly for their standards, they've definitely had opportunities at the Coventry goal, but not really worked any shots to trouble the goalkeeper, Ben Wilson. But it's been the half for Ellis Sims, a signing they brought in the summer for a fee that could rise to £8 million, and he's got them a hat-trick in the first half. His first goal came 9 minutes in, and it was a ball played through by Palmer. Coverland came out to try and close down the angle, but he got it through the Brazilian's legs, and it gave Ellis Sims his first goal, and his second came 5 minutes later, once again being played through by Casey Palmer, just to the left side of the box. He got his left foot to it, played it low across the goal, and it went into the bottom right corner again. No real chance for Coverland in the Maidstone goal, and his hat-trick came 20 minutes later in the 35th minute. It was a long-range shot from Casey Palmer, which was parried by Coverland straight into the path of Ellis Sims, who latched onto it quickly, buried it with no fuss, slammed it into the back of the net for his hat-trick. And here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, it is Coventry 3, Maidstone 0. Not quite the upset that we would have wanted or we would have hoped for. It didn't last too long. Coventry did get the lead in the 9th minute, but Maidstone have definitely not embarrassed themselves. They've had a decent performance. They've got forward plenty of times, but it's just working that opportunity to get the shot off, which they've struggled with. They've entered the Maidstone box a couple of times, but again, just not really being able to work that dangerous attempt at goal to really worry Ben Wilson. And for Coventry, they've done exactly what you'd expect. Moved the ball quickly, opened up the spaces, played the ball into those spaces, and have got shots off and have been clinical, especially your Ellis Sims, who has got himself a hat-trick tonight, which is fantastic for the Coventry number 9. And I do believe it's his first career hat-trick, if I am not mistaken. I will double check that. Don't want to get my stats wrong, but I do believe it is an Ellis Sims hat-trick for the first time in his career. But for Ellis Sims, it is... yeah, first career hat-trick for Ellis Sims. Very impressive for the Coventry number 9, who starts tonight. He has got 3 in his last 6 in the league as well, so he's in a little bit of goal-scoring form at the moment. The man signed from Everton, but as it is half-time, I'm going to take a little break, and I'll be back for the second half in 15 minutes. Make sure you're back, as it is currently Coventry 3, Maidstone 0. We'll be back in 15 minutes for the second half live commentary. Hello, we are back for the second half of Coventry against Maidstone. It is currently Coventry leading the game by 3-0. Maidstone yet to have a shot on target, but have entered the Coventry box a couple of times. But have been split open on many of occasions, leading to the 3 goals in the first senior career hat-trick for Ellis Sims. His first 3 ever FA Cup goals. He hadn't scored in the competition before tonight. It says there, just can't see Maidstone coming back, just lacking the bit of extra quality. Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much of bit too big of a mountain to climb for Maidstone. Like I say, there is 70 teams between these two in the pyramid. So yeah, just a little bit of difference quality. Coventry in the 2nd tier and Maidstone all the way down in the 6th tier of English football. But at the end of the day, just the fact they've got to this stage is just ridiculous, really. They shouldn't be anywhere near the 5th round, but they've got there, and they will go down in history. This run will go down in history. Like I say, they are the lowest ranked team to reach the last 16 since Blythe Spartans in 1978. You know, 1978. It was a very long time ago, so runs like this just don't happen very often, and it can be one that these Maidstone players will never forget. And they've just got to go out in this second half and just really enjoy themselves. Just take it all in, try and get a goal if they can. And you know, even if they do get beat 4-5, 6-0, it's still not an embarrassment. You know, that is what you'd expect a scoreline to be between a team like Coventry and the players they have, and a team like Maidstone. Like that Ipswich result in the last round, that is such a freak result. Like that result, you know, if Maidstone play that game another 99 times, they probably get beat every time. It was just on that day, in that moment, those players were able to win that game. But tonight, a different day, a different round, a different opponent. It's just not quite worked out for Maidstone in this 5th round fixture. But the second half will be getting underway in a minute or two time, I presume, as we do have the Coventry players back out, and we do have the Maidstone players out as well. It's just a little bit of frustrating as well there for Maidstone in that first half. They were attacking the end of their Maidstone supporters. So in the second half, Maidstone will be attacking the Coventry end. So if they do score, it won't be in front of their own supporters, but I'm sure they'll be able to hear them celebrating from the other end of the ground with the 5,000 that have travelled up here for this game for Maidstone. I think we might have a change from Coventry here at half-time, as they will look to plan for their game on Friday night, where they go to West Brom, who are also in the playoffs, and after West Brom they take on Rotherham at home and then Watford away, as it is going to be Callum O'Hare to come on, a very talented Coventry player, their number 10. He is making his 15th FA Cup appearance. All 4 of his FA Cup goals have come for Coventry, and he's scored 3 of them this season, 1 against Oxford in the first round and then twice in the replay against Sheffield Wednesday in the 4th round. And we're back underway. Not quite sure who's replaced, he didn't say, but it's Coventry to kick off, kicking right to left, Maidstone left to right. Bidwell low cross into the box to O'Hare, who's tackled there by Corn. He slices it into the sky, into the box, where the header away from Brown isn't great. It will drop towards O'Hare, headed away by Corn. And the header out to the right by Lati Baldia is cut out by Dooku's heavy touch, allows a big tackle from Bobby Thomas. And it will roll right down the Maidstone left-hand side, where it will be not kept in by Ellis Sims. And the substitute is number 11, Hadji Wright, the American striker. He's been replaced by the number 10 of Callum O'Hare. He's got 9 goals this season in all competitions. Coventry's number 10. Only played 11 times last season, as he suffered an ACL injury in December of 2022. There's Corn on the halfway line for Maidstone. This possessed by Liam Kelly. It's now Palmer into O'Hare, tries to slip it through for Sims, cut out by Greenidge, ball forward to the halfway line here to Lamar Reynolds, who can turn away from Kitchen, great bit of skill, and it's now Berkeley Agyapong, out to the left there to Kiprianu, over the top, looking for the striker Aduku, header away by Bidwell on the edge of the 18-yard box, finds midfielder Victor Torp, and it's now Coventry back on the ball, and they swiftly move it out to the right-hand side here to Lati Baudia, plays it out now to Tavares. Got the overlap of Lati Baudia, lays it off into O'Hare, midway side the Maidstone half. It's Liam Kelly on the ball. It's now with Lati Baudia, the right back again. So Liam Kelly into his own half with a ball to Bobby Thomas and across to his centre-back partner of Liam Kitchen. O'Hare. Back it goes into Lati Baudia on the halfway line. We're 2 minutes into this second half, and it's still Coventry leading by 3-0, and they have been the team on top at the start of this second half, with having pretty much all of the ball. Thomas forward to O'Hare, flicks it to Sims, back to goal, so lays it off to Kelly, and out to the right to Lati Baudia. Who has it towards the final third, lays it off for Tavares, tries the 1-2, deflects off Kiprianu, and that'll be a Coventry throw-in on the far side. Taken quickly. It's now with Tavares inside to O'Hare. Back to Lati Baudia. Torp. Lati Baudia again. Tavares to Torp on the far side. Lays it off for Tavares again. Not as much space for Coventry at the moment. They're just knocking the ball around, keeping the possession. It's now in the centre circle with Kitchen. He's got Bidwell to the left. Then he'll play it to the left back. It's now with Casey Palmer, who's taking up a left wing position now. And it allows O'Hare to play in a more central position. The substitute for Coventry at half-time. Bobby Thomas. Out to the right about Lati Baudia. 5 yards inside the Maidstone half. Plays it forward now to Tavares. Back into Lati Baudia. It's now into Thomas, who's been closed down by Duku. Plays it to Lati Baudia again. And then back to the goalkeeper of Ben Wilson, who in fact scored last season for Coventry in a 1-1 draw away at Blackburn in mid-April, which helped their playoff push, which got them into those spots where they were beaten on penalties at Wembley to Luton in the final. There's Palmer. Gets the ball deflected to Sims, pokes it to O'Hare, who gets the shot away. And it's straight at Coverland. Surprised with that strike. It seemed like the obvious place was to go for the far corner where he probably would have scored, but O'Hare in fact went more towards the near post and didn't quite catch it in the end. It was an easy save for Coverland. But it's been all Coventry in the opening 5 minutes of this second half as Coverland goes long up towards Duku, the striker, loses out to Thomas. The ball goes out for a Maidstone throw-in on the halfway line, with their left wing-back Kiprianu, forward by Bone to Berkeley Agyapong. Kiprianu deflects off Kelly, throwing again for Maidstone, a bit further into the Coventry half now. Lose out though to Tavares. Kelly keeps it away from Berkeley Agyapong, but his pass goes out of play, just too far in front of Lati Baudia, and it'll be a Maidstone throw midway side the Coventry half on the far side, taken by Kiprianu. Couple of 1-2s there with Liam Sol, who then goes back into Sam Corn. Out to the right to Rafe Brown. Finds George Fowler, turns away from Palmer. It's now Corn again on the halfway line. Been closed down by O'Hare. Finds Greenidge, who will bring the ball forward. And plays out to the right to Brown. Away from Palmer. Good run here by Brown. Finds Sol. Now into Berkeley Agyapong. Kiprianu's made a run. Finds him in the area. Tries to cut it back, deflects off Lati Baudia, back towards Kiprianu, and he's tackled a second time, and it'll go out for a corner kick for Maidstone. Really good bit of football, that. Fantastic defence splitted pass there to find Kiprianu, who had got forward. Good ball from Berkeley Agyapong. And it will be a right-footed in-swinger here from Sam Corn, the captain tonight for Maidstone. Like we've mentioned before, Maidstone have shown just little spells of quality in this game. As the corner goes in, it's a floater to the far post where it's a header forward by Greenidge towards Duku. Loses out to Thomas, cleared in the end by O'Hare. To the halfway line here to Sol. Gets it out to the left here to Corn. Sol. Down the line for Reynolds. Looks for Berkeley Agyapong on the byline. Keeps it in. Away from Thomas. Finding Reynolds again. To Sol. Back out to Berkeley Agyapong. Cipriano. Can't get away from O'Hare. Good tackle. Passes it forward to Sims. Wants the 1-2, but the pass from Sims is weak. And it's away from O'Hare. And Reynolds in the box. Shoots at the near post and rattles that side netting again. Maidstone showing they can get themselves forward and get themselves into the box. That time it was a Sims ball that got away from O'Hare, and it was Berkeley Agyapong to find Sol, and the ball was played into Reynolds, who was worked away from goal there from Bobby Thomas, and the angle was too tight and hit the side netting. But positive play for Maidstone, for sure. Launch ball forward for Maidstone, headed forward by Bobby Thomas to right back Lati Baldi, and midway inside the Coventry half is the left back Bidwell, who's just come inside a little bit into more of a central area to get that ball. But for the manager, George Elakobi, for Maidstone, he's actually played against Coventry 4 previous times as a player, twice in the 07-08 season, then once in the 08-09 season, then once again in the 15-16 season. So he does have previous playing against this side. The Maidstone manager, as the ball out to the left here for Maidstone, picked up by Berkeley Agyapong as he drives inside to the final third here, plays it to his right to Sol, wants the 1-2 with Reynolds, can't quite complete it, cut out on the edge of the box there by Torp, who goes out to the left wing here for Coventry, O'Hare, who looks in behind for Sims, not quite on the same wavelength there, and the ball will go through to Coverland in the Maidstone goal. Goes out to the left to Bone, high ball up towards Dooku, loses out to Thomas. It's now with the right back Lati Baldia in his own defensive third. Plays a pass into the midfield to Kelly. All the time in the world to turn forward and look to the left. Then he finds Torp, who goes over the top of the Maidstone defence to find the run of Bidwell. He will stride forward in towards the box. He gets the ball across and it's caught by Coverland on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he quickly throws it out to the Maidstone left here. To Sol. Dooku wanted it in behind. He went to feet. Cut out for Coventry. It's now O'Hare 25 yards out. Playing it to the left here to Bidwell. All alone on the edge of the box. He crosses in towards Palmer, who can head it towards goal, but it's an easy catch for Coverland. And Palmer was offside anyway, but play will be continued. The advantage will be played by the referee. It's Coverland on the ball with his hands. Coverland on the edge of the box, sends it forward, right-footed, up towards Dooku. A good header won again there by Thomas, played forward by Sol. Can it deflect back to Maidstone? No, it can't. Dooku loses again to Thomas. And O'Hare back to Torp. 1-2 with Kelly. Torp through to O'Hare on the halfway line, keeping it away from Fowler. And finding Torp again, who just drifted out to this near side. Lays it off for O'Hare. And Coventry will start again at the back. They finished last season really strong, Coventry, losing just one of their 19 games before the final, drawing 9 and winning 9. So they did go into that playoff final in very good form in terms of the lack of defeats, but it was the lottery of the shootout that cost Coventry Premier League promotion in the end. But this season they're going to go again for those playoff spots, currently 9th at the moment in the Championship, with 13 wins from 34. It'll be a Coventry throw-in on the far side, taken by right-back Lati Baldia. And for Maidstone last season, they picked up 2 wins in their 23 on their travels. Aldershot in August and then Scunthorpe in the November. Finishing one of the most dismal seasons in Maidstone's history, that one. Finishing bottom of the National League as Dooku crosses down the left for Maidstone. It won't be kept in by Thomas. And there'll be a corner for the away side. Seemed a bit more involved today, Manny Dooku. He was very isolated in the game against Ipswich and didn't really do much he wasn't really involved too much in the goals. But he's just that nuisance that you got to deal with his height of 6'2". So it'll be another in-swinger from the right boot of Sam Corn. In it goes, again to the far post, looking for Greenidge, who will head it across the box. It's dealt with by Torp and then helped away by O'Hare. All as far as Sol, who can get it back out to the left-hand side here to Corn. On his right foot. Delivers it back into the area. Wilson's come to collect, and he collects it. He does. Easy catch for the number 13 for Coventry. And he rolls it out to the left here to the number 6 of Liam Kelly, who has been part of this rise up the leagues with Coventry in the squad for the League 2 promotion in the playoffs in the 2017-18 season, and then in the team for the League 1 title back in 2020. And here he is on the ball on the halfway line to the near side to Tavares. Finds O'Hare. And then to Sims. Just goes away from the number 9. Picked up by Cipriano, who goes back to Kovalan, who fakes the clearance and the second one to get away from Palmer. And Sims, very confident goalkeeping there from Kovalan. And it's now with Reynolds in a left wing position. Running one-on-one here with Lati Baudia. Reynolds goes back towards the halfway line here to Berkeley Agyapong. Cipriano into George Fowler. Cipriano again across to Corn in the Maidstone half still. It's Reece Greenidge on the ball. Ball over the top for Maidstone. Dooku will chase it towards the byline. Kitchen can or can't. Can see the ball out. Can't see the ball out. I don't know what decision's been made. I think it's a Maidstone corner. Just a hopeful ball down the right-hand side, and Kitchen couldn't see the ball out. Dooku kicked it against the centre-half and won his side a corner. Just good work rate there from Manny Dooku, whose only other previous goal in the FA Cup, I say other previous, he's only scored once, Manny Dooku, and that came during his time at York. So it's going to be another in-swinger. It's going to be the left foot here of Berkeley Agyapong, who will go short, plays it forward, then gets the ball back on the angle here. And he clips it to the far post. It's going to be a free header for Sims. It'll be recollected here for Corn, who will go all the way back to Kovalan. Midway side, the Maidstone half. Bit of a waste there from that corner, from the away side. As Kovalan plays out to the right. It's been controlled by Sol. Away from the challenger, Bidwell. Good skill here from Sol. Bidwell recovers and stands him up one-on-one again. But Sol plays it through here for Fowler, who crosses it. And it's deflected off Torp. And that'll be another corner for Maidstone. It's been a really good half from the away side. Again, in terms of shots on goal and that sort of stuff, it's not been fantastic. But in terms of just getting on the ball, they've had a lot of time on the ball in the second half, it seems. It looks like they're a lot more confident. Maybe that lack of pressure on them with the fact the game's almost gone from them. Corn, outswinger, header won by Kelly. Flicked on by O'Hare. Played out back to the right for Maidstone to Corn. Drives inside. Plays a ball into the box. Cut out by Kelly. That's where they're lacking that quality. It's now with left back Bidwell. Forward for O'Hare, who's surrounded by 3 yellow and black shirts. Orange, and it's a bit of a lighter orange, isn't it, really? But he can get away from them with a pass back to Liam Kitchen. And it's Coventry, who are back on the ball inside their own half on this near side now with Bidwell into number 15 Liam Kitchen. £4 million they spent on Liam Kitchen in the summer from Barnsley. There's a ball over the top. What a touch that is from Tavares, who will strike it, but he loses balance there, and that'll be a goal kick. Showing his quality here and there, the Portuguese winger Fabio Tavares. It was a good ball over the top there by Bobby Thomas. Tavares got in behind Cipriano. As he entered the box, he was trying to get the shot off as quickly as possible. Maybe taking it on too quickly. And just striking wide. He took it down nicely. Then also a thigh touch in front of him. It was really good. But the shot shinned it, actually. Fabio Tavares, and it went well wide of the post there. As it's gone forward. Header won by Berkeley. Agyapong works out to the right now to Fowler, who will switch it towards the left towards Dooku, who chests it down for Berkeley Agyapong on the edge of the area. Goes towards Cipriano. Cut out by Torp. But Berkeley Agyapong will try and win the ball back here, but it's dealt with by Lati Baudia, who gets it to O'Hare. Got Tavares to his right here, O'Hare. Can he release it? He tries to, and he does. And he finds Tavares, who's touching inside. He will be picked up here by Casey Palmer, who will go back out to the right wing here to O'Hare. Midway side, the Maidstone half. Now Kelly. Bidwell on the left. Back inside to Kelly. Bidwell again. O'Hare down the line. We'll keep it in. Just has to leave the 18-yard box here. O'Hare as he's brought down by Greenidge. And that'll be a free kick for Coventry on the left-hand side, given by Michael Salisbury. Bit of an unnecessary foul there from Greenidge, because O'Hare really isn't going anywhere. He's running towards the corner flag, if anything. And just couldn't help himself but lunge in. So it's a Coventry free kick towards the byline, so no angle for a shot, but it'll be a chance for Victor Torp to cross this one in, as Coventry is still yet to score in this second half. So it'll be the number 29 for Coventry, Torp to cross with his right foot. He will swing in towards goal. And the header was won there by Dooku in the 6-yard box, so it'll be a Coventry corner on this near side. It was aimed towards the near post to Kitchen, which went beyond the centre half. And they've played it short here, the corner. It's now Palmer on the edge of the box. Finds O'Hare. Through towards Torp, who's tackled by Berkeley Agipong. Loose ball drops to Kelly. He goes back to the halfway line here to Bidwell. Quickly forward down the right to Lati Baldia. It's now Liam Kelly, midway inside the Maidstone half. He goes back to Kitchen as he's being closed down there quickly there by Reynolds. It's now in the centre circle here with Kitchen. O'Hare tries to find Sims down the right-hand side. Cut out by Kiprianu. It's now Corn, who's been forced to go back to the goalkeeper of Coverland. Quickly shifts it to his right here to Fowler. Moves it away from Palmer, who's still chasing him down. Fowler plays it. Short ball cut out by Bidwell. And it's now Coventry's chance to get forward into the Maidstone half. We go with the pass from Kelly to O'Hare. Lays it off for Torp. Back forward out to the left to Kelly. It's now with Palmer. He's got left back Bidwell overlapping. Doesn't play it to him. Keeps it simple to O'Hare, who returns the ball to Palmer. Lati Baldia on this far side. Tavares into Thomas. All Maidstone plays behind the ball as it's on the halfway line here with Kitchen. It's now Bidwell at left back. Finds Palmer, who tried to jinx himself away there from Fowler. Completes a 1-2 with Torp. Palmer tries to go in behind into the box for Tavares. Cut out by the head of Bone. It's now a ball over the top for Maidstone. They're going to try and find Dooku, but it's well dealt with by the left thigh of Liam Kitchen. And it's Coventry back on the ball on this near side with just over 25 minutes to play here. So Lati Baldia at right back, bringing it forward. Tavares trying to find O'Hare in the box, cut out, and Maidstone trying to get it forward quickly. It's in the midfield to Corn, over hits a touch, it's won back by Torp. Palmer's free to his left, finds him, edge of the box, he works the shot, which has been parried away by Coverland. It was curling in towards that right-hand side of the goal. Wasn't hit with lots of conviction from Palmer, but the save was still needed. Corn, who's been so good for Maidstone this season, especially in the FA Cup, just slightly overhit his touch, which allowed Torp to get in there and take the ball off him. But he was saved by his goalkeeper, who could just palm that ball away with two hands. And it's a Maidstone throw-in on the far side, in their own half, with left wing-back Kiprianu. As it looks like Coventry are going to make 3 changes here. Don't know if they'll happen now, or if they'll do it in the next break. They're going to do it now, and it's going to be the hat-trick hero. Half-time, first half hat-trick for Ellis Sims. He'll be replaced by number 24, Matt Godden, who has scored twice in the FA Cup this season, both in the third round to the 6-2 win at Oxford, at home to Oxford. So it's Sims off for Godden. Palmer will also be replaced by Josh Eccles. And Victor Torp will have his game cut short. And he'll be replaced by number 21, it seems. 27, sorry, Milan Van Evik. So triple change. Sims, Palmer and Torp off for Eccles, Godden and Van Evik. So I'm not quite sure where that will lead Van Evik to play. Let's go to a back three, maybe. With Van Evik and Bidwell as wing-backs. As the ball has been found here on the left wing position for Liam Sol for Maidstone. Flicks it away from Eccles. Still no space for a cross yet for Sol, so it goes back to Berkeley Agyapong. Then to Sol again, who works it away from Eccles, but can't get away from Lati Baudia. And it'll be a throw-in for Maidstone again. He's done that a few times already this second half. Liam Sol. Some of his dribbling and footwork tonight has been really good. He's got away from multiple challenges from the Coventry defenders and midfielders. He's definitely someone who I don't think will be at Maidstone next season. I don't think a lot of these will be at Maidstone next season. I think they'll be found to be at teams a few leagues above. Because definitely some of these have got something about them. Berkeley Agyapong on the halfway line. Tackled by Kelly, but he falls to Corn, who lifts it up into the air towards Manny Duku, who loses his header to Thomas. Played forward by Kelly. O'Hare on the halfway line. Drives into the Maidstone half. He's got loads of room to run into here, O'Hare. Who will try and play it to the right towards Van Evik. Cut out by Kiprianu, but he loses out to the new substitute for Coventry and then is dispossessed by O'Hare eventually. Who overhits the touch and he's tackled by Bone. And it's cleared away by Greenidge. Out towards the left to Sol. Cut out by Lati Baldia, who fans Van Evik. Using his body to try and keep the ball away from Kiprianu, but the last touch is off the Dutch wing-back. And it'll be a throw-in for Maidstone, who will make 3 changes of their own here. Number 6, Rafe Brown, will be replaced by number 2 and club captain, Gavin Hoyt. Gavin Hoyt had started the last 4 FA Cup games before tonight. So that's the first change. Next change will be left wing-back Harry Kiprianu, who had missed a few games before tonight after the Ipswich game. But he was back in, and he'll be replaced. And one of the shining stars tonight, Liam Sol, he'll be replaced as well. So it's Chi Azanolum on, and Bivesh Gurung. So for Maidstone, it is Sol, Brown and Kiprianu off for Ezenolim, Gurung and Gavin Hoyt. So plenty of changes made for both sides now as we're entering the final 20 minutes of this FA Cup 5th round fixture, which will see Coventry find themselves in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup for the first time since the 2008-2009 season. It's now in the 18-yard box for Coventry with their goalkeeper Wilson. Finds the right centre-back of Thomas. Gets away from one Maidstone challenge and a second. It's a great run here from Thomas. He will look out towards the left-hand side and calmly play a pass into the path here of Liam Kitchen. He goes back across to Thomas. All Maidstone players are behind the ball as Thomas goes forward and out to the right to O'Hare. Lays it off first time here to Lati Baudia. It's now Van Evik. Back to Lati Baudia. It's now on the halfway line here with Bobby Thomas. Godden shrugged off the ball there by Berkeley Agyapong, and play continues here. Is Duku on the right hand side, kicks it off Kitchen, throwing for Maidstone midway inside the Coventry half on this near side. It'll be taken by the number 5 George Fowler. Throws the ball into Berkeley Agyapong, back into number 2 Hoyt, and then into Greenidge, across to the left centre half here of Sam Bone. He goes out to the left there towards Ezenolim, who will keep it in on the far side, having to just retreat ever so slightly to keep the ball in. And back it goes to Gurung. now Bone bringing the ball forward. Playing the pass forward here. Reynolds facing goal. Faking the first shot and trying to get into the area, but he's brought away from him by Lati Baldia's clearance, and it'll be another throw-in for Maidstone. Who in the second half have kept the game at 0-0, if you look at it that way. They've been in the game the second half. They've had spells on the ball. It's definitely a performance they can't be ashamed of. As Kovlan, the goalkeeper, clips it forward. Headed on by Berkeley Agyapong towards Reynolds. It just goes behind him. Dealt with by Thomas. Pass forward to O'Hare. Tavares was in behind. Couldn't quite release the ball in time, but the tackle from Gurung falls to Kelly. It's now Tavares in the left wing position. Driving inside. Laying it off for O'Hare. Now Bidwell in the final third. Back to O'Hare again. On the halfway line now with Kitchen. Across to the right centre-back of Thomas. Van Evik, the Dutchman. Signed from Herenveen in the summer. Pass forward. Tried to be flicked on by Godden to O'Hare. Dealt with by Greenidge. Headed back forward by Thomas. It's available in the midfield. It's Kelly who wins it. But then loses out to Ezenolim. Down the line by Korn. Towards Dooku, who just loses out there to Lati Baldia. And it'll be Coventry back on the ball. Inside their own half with centre-back Kitchen. Just drifting out to the left here is O'Hare. 1-2 with Tavares. O'Hare on the ball. Laying it off behind him to Kelly. Switching out to the right. It's a big ball and he's asking a lot of his own abilities, but he's got the capability of getting the pass off, finding Van Evik, whose cross is low, and dealt with by Maidstone in the 18-yard box. It falls to Lati Baldia. So Coventry can come again. Lati Baldia passes it to Van Evik. Kicks the ball off Ezenolim. And that'll be a throw-in here for Maidstone. It looks like one of their players have gone down here for Maidstone United. Possibly a little bit of cramp that they might be struggling with there. I'm not sure if they'll receive any treatment here. They might have got back to their feet, and I think they have, whoever it was. It might have been Sam Bone, number 15, who was struggling there, a bit ever so slightly. But an interesting story on the centre-back, Sam Bone, which I was reading before the game on the BBC website. Back in 2016, he was actually diagnosed with testicular cancer. And he said, before cancer, I was arrogant at Charlton, his previous club that he was at, when he was released. And he also said, I was selfish and immature. Being out of football with cancer gave me time to reflect on who I was as a person. I just find that really interesting, how he was coming through at Charlton, had the horrific news of being diagnosed with cancer, but using it to improve himself as a person, because he had time to reflect and he didn't like the way he was, in his arrogant ways, according to himself. And he came back a stronger person. I just found that really inspiring, how something so tragic you can use to improve yourself as a person. I think that's a really touching story, and it's really good that he's overcome that cancer, and he's obviously playing now for Maidstone. He spent his 6 years in Ireland, as we mentioned before, after being released from Charlton after spending 3 years at the club. And he clears it down the left-hand side here for Maidstone, headed forward by Thomas. That's a thumping header, dealt with by Greenidge, who will drive it towards the halfway line, but plays it backwards here to keep the ball to Bone. And then back to the goalkeeper of Coventry in the 18-yard box. It's now Korn on the edge of the area, dropping deep from midfield to get the ball. Playing it towards Hoyt. Over hit, can't keep it in, the number 2. And it's out of play for a throw-in, as Maidstone are going to make another change here. It's going to be number 13, Riley Court, to come on when their ball next goes out of play. Now on the far side, bringing it into the Maidstone half. It's Lati Baldi, who's got Van Evik to his right. Lays it off to him. Takes a touch towards the byline. Eventually crosses it. It's a deeper one. It's a header won there by Fowler. Only as far as Torp, who chests it and strikes it with a very solid strike. Sorry, Torp's gone off the pitch. It was Eccles. They look very similar. I had a problem with that in the last game. I did Coventry a week or two ago against Millwall, where they won. And Eccles and Torp were in the midfield together, and they look exactly the same. So my fault there. It was Josh Eccles with the shot, saved by Kovlan, who slams the ball forward. Header away by Kitchen to the halfway line to Hoyt, who heads it forward himself. Dealt with by Kelly, finds Eccles, And there's a run being made by Van Evik on the right, and they'll find him, and he is onside. Van Evik keeps it away from Ezanolim, finding O'Hare, who's drifted out to the right wing position here. O'Hare into Kelly, out to the right to Eccles, forward for O'Hare, who's in the corner of the box on the right hand side, playing it out to Van Evik, one-on-one with Ezanolim, crosses the ball, deflects off the number 3 for Maidstone, and that'll be a corner on the far side for Coventry. And we're going to get a Coventry change. I don't know if we're going to get that Maidstone change of Riley Court, but we are going to see Jay De Silva, left back, replace the left back on the pitch currently, and that is Jake Bidwell. This was Bidwell's second appearance in the FA Cup, didn't feature in any of the 2 games against Sheffield Wednesday, and it has usually been Jay De Silva who's been used at left back from the start. Picked up 2 assists in that replay win against Sheffield Wednesday. Jay De Silva, the left back. So Coventry are going to take this corner. O'Hare playing it to the edge of the area to Kelly. Back into O'Hare again. 25 yards out on his left foot. Plays the ball through, which is deflected off Gurung. For Maidstone, plays a pass forward here to Reynolds, who can get away from Kelly. Here is Reynolds running into the Coventry half, playing it through towards Dooku. It's just overhit. Caught easily there for Wilson. And the game remains 3-0 here to Coventry. A slight chance on the counter for Lamar Reynolds, but was pretty isolated on his own up front as the ball fell towards him. For Coventry, it's a matter of fact of who they'll face in the next round, because it'll probably be one of the big boys really. City is still involved, Liverpool, United as well, Wolves and Brighton. So a lot of Premier League pedigree are left. So they'll definitely want a home tie to Coventry, that's for sure, because as we mentioned before, they are usually very strong at home. Only lost their second league game of the season at home in the game on Friday against Preston, where they were beaten in the first half 3-0, and that's how it ended. And it's been the same here. They went 3-0 up in the first half, and they've not added to that since. As Maidstone are eventually going to make this change, the number 13, Riley Court, will replace Manny Dooku up front for Maidstone. Riley Court is usually a midfielder, so maybe Berkeley Agyapong will be sent further forward here for Maidstone. As a Nolin, the left wing back, clears the ball off Van Evik, and that's a throw-in for Maidstone in the left back area. It's not had as much of the ball in the last 10 or so minutes, Maidstone, but within this second half, they had spells on the ball and moments in the Coventry box, but again, they've just not been able to work a shot on target yet tonight, I don't think. Maidstone have lost it from the throw-in. Eccles in the midfield for Coventry. Finds Kelly, the captain. And now across to the edge of the centre circle here to Kitchen, who will bring the ball forward with a pass to O'Hare, which is cut out by Corn. Gurung. Pass cut out, though, by Kitchen. Kelly forward to O'Hare. Loses out to Berkeley Agyapong. Ezanolim gets onto his left foot and clears it long. Something for Riley Court to chase, the teenager for Maidstone. Won't beat Thomas to it, and he'll go back to the goalkeeper, Wilson. Then back out to the right to Thomas. Down the line it goes here to Lati Baudia. Finds O'Hare, who goes back here to Thomas. And it's Coventry again on the ball inside their own half. So with Liam Kitchen on the halfway line, playing a pass into the space for Tavares to hunt it down. It'll be Hoyt to see the ball out, possibly. No, Tavares keeps it in, but Hoyt wins it back. Good defending from the experienced right back. And he clears it down the line, up towards Lamar Reynolds, who can't quite beat the ball to Lati Baudia. And it's Coventry who are in possession in their own half again. But for Maidstone, the next step of the quarter-final wasn't meant to be, but they have played in 8 games now in the FA Cup this season, 2 of them at home, which were wins to Barrow and Stevenage, and then 5 away wins, 6 in all, 6 altogether with this game tonight at Coventry. But in this run, they have reached the 5th round of the FA Cup for the very first time. No team like Maidstone have had a run like this since Blythe Spartans in 1978. And for the away side tonight, the full focus will now return to the National League South, where they're looking to try and gain promotion back to the National League at the first time of asking, as they're currently in the playoff hunt in the 6th tier of English football. They've got some defending to do here. O'Hare in the final third in the left wing position. Driving across the 18-yard box, finding the pass towards Tavares, gets away from the number 30, cleared by Ezenolim, all as far as the chest of Eccles, who can quickly shift it out to his right to Bobby Thomas, who tries to slip a ball through into the box. It's cut out by Ezenolim, and the last touch comes off Eccles as he has to tackle Lamar Reynolds, and that'll be a Maidstone throw-in on that far side again. In the midfield court, loses out to Eccles, ball forward quickly to Godden, in behind for Tavares, who's just gone slightly early, and the flag goes up for offside. Not really been too involved in this second half, Fabio Tavares, which is a little bit of a disappointment for the Portuguese winger, because he's not had many chances for Coventry, and it seemed like tonight was the night to really show himself and what he can do, but he's not really been at it. So we'll have to see if he'll be here next season. Fabio Tavares, who's only ever scored once for Coventry in his previous 21 appearances. Maidstone have it on their left-hand side. Lifted ball, looking for Berkeley Agipong. Heads it into Lamar Reynolds. Berkeley Agipong takes over. Deflects off Lati Baudia to court. Back out to the left to Gurung. Now Ezenolim. Trying to run at Van Evik. Goes back to Gurung, who crosses it into the area, but no one's attacking it. Straight into the gloves of Ben Wilson. And it's a little bit of a disappointment there for Maidstone, who again were looking like they could maybe try and nick a consolation goal here late on. But it's comfortable for the Coventry goalkeeper. There's O'Hare in the centre circle, turning away from Corn. It's now with Kelly. Out to De Silva, who brings it down after the pass was lifted towards him. De Silva. It's now O'Hare. Into Kelly. Eccles. Into the centre circle to Lati Baudia. It's now Kitchen. Eccles. De Silva on the near side here, midway side the Maidstone half. Back now in their own half here with Lati Baudia. Thomas overruns it. Tackle by Gurung, but no one there to pick up the loose ball for Maidstone. And it's Coventry back in possession in their own half. With the number 4, Bobby Thomas, only 23 years of age. Signed for £2 million from Burnley in the summer. He only made 1 appearance for Burnley's senior team. He was in the League Cup in September 2020 to Millwall. Coventry just killing the clock here, just keeping the ball, going over the top out to the left to O'Hare, who will reach the ball ahead of Fowler. Square ball into the area towards Tavares, lose touch, and he loses it to Fowler. It's just not been good enough from Tavares. Really poor. Don't think he'll be in the Coventry first team next season. I think they'll be looking to ship him out because he's just simply not good enough at this level. But this Coventry have won the ball back. Out to the right-hand side here to Bobby Thomas. 10 yards inside the Maidstone half. It's now Van Evik goes around the outside of Ezanolim, but then shrugged off it, but then he keeps it. Squares it. O'Hare in the box. Tries to get onto his right foot to shoot. Dealt with by Riley Court, who can clear. But as mentioned, I mean, obviously Coventry aren't at it like they were in the first half because they've got a 3-goal lead. But this second half has technically been 0-0. As Maidstone will make one final change. He's probably been one of their best players tonight. And that is Jacob Berkeley Agyapong, who's only been brought in December from Havant and Waterlooville. But he's been superb in the 2 games I've watched him play. And he'll be replaced here by number 19, Perry Ian Dallow, who joined Maidstone at an academy level, the 20-year-old, who's coming on for his 10th appearance of the season. 6 of them in the FA Cup, just the 1 start against Winchester in the 3rd round of qualifying. And it's Coventry still on the ball, on the halfway line, with Kitchen. Eccles driving out to this right-hand side, playing it inside to Godden, plays it through for Tavares, who's got to score, shoots it towards goal, and he finds the back of the net. Fabio Tavares, who hasn't been firing tonight, eventually gets a chance which he takes. Just his 2nd goal ever in his Coventry career. And finally, Coventry get a goal in this second half. It's Fabio Tavares with it. It's Coventry 4, Maidstone 0. And Coventry are through to the FA Cup quarter-final, if it was ever in doubt. Picked up on the halfway line by Eccles. Good ball inside to Godden. And Hoyt committed towards Godden. Left the gap behind him to Tavares, who in the box took a touch, which, not to get at Tavares like I've got an agenda against him, because I don't. But his first touch wasn't that good with his right foot. And it had to hurry the finish as Covalan came out, closing him down. And he had to just swing with his weaker left foot. And he just got it through the goalkeeper. And he hit the back of the net. And with a couple of minutes left of this game, it's Coventry 4, Maidstone 0. Fabio Tavares with his first goal of the season. So 4-0 it is. Maidstone have not had their goal tonight, which you could say they maybe half deserve, because they've, for the level they're at, you know, a National League South team coming to a Championship side, I thought they've had little spells where they've actually been good. And they've tried to play, they've tried to get forward, and you can definitely see that some of these players have definitely got the quality to play higher up than the level they're currently at. O'Hare out to the left to De Silva, tried to play a quick ball through towards Godden, straight through to the goalkeeper Covalan, who quickly kicks it out towards the left to Lamar Reynolds. Chested touch gets ahead of Bobby Thomas, but he's shrugged off the ball. And it'll be a throw-in for Coventry. Bobby Thomas on halfway, just about keeps it in. Plays it down the line. Godden will chase it, dealt with by Bone as he slices it behind him, and then can clear it a second time. That goes a little bit further. As Garung helps it on with a header. Dealt with by Kelly. Kicks it off Ian Dollo. And it's now Kelly on the ball. Finds Van Evik, who's tackled there by Ezanolim. Ball stays in by Ian Dollo. But he's tackled by Kelly. And there'll be 3 minutes added on here at the end of this game. There's O'Hare, runs into traffic. It's now Maidstone out to the left there to Ian Dollo. Finds Lamar Reynolds here, who will stride the ball forward into the final third. Overhits the touch, taken off him by Lati Baudia, who can keep the ball in. Looks like he was going for a throw in there, but ball had stayed in. And then Van Evik's brought down there by Ezanolim. And that'll be a free kick for Coventry, just inside their own half. Coventry want a fifth. Godden on the edge of the area, tackled well by Gavin Hoyt. And ball played forward towards Lamar Reynolds, cut out by Bobby Thomas. It's now with Van Evik. Kelly O'Hare flicks it into Godden in the box, who tries to shoot it first time, deflects back to him, who has another shot, parried into the path of Fabio Tavares, who gets his second. Right place, right time, and the Portuguese youngster gets his second of the game. He really couldn't miss that one. But the moment where we need to really admire is that Callum O'Hare back heel to find Godden in the box. And as he found the experienced striker, his first shot was blocked. It fell back towards him. He had a second strike, which I think also took a slight nick. And it was a shot towards the far post where Kovlan could only parry. And it's straight into the path of Tavares, who from around 5 yards out or so had an empty net to finish into with his weaker left foot again. Decent save from Kovlan, but again straight into the danger. Did something similar for the Sims hat-trick goal in the first half. But it's Sims' hat-trick, it's a Tavares brace. And here at the Coventry Building Society Arena, it is Coventry 5, Maidstone 0. Yes, we've got 50 seconds left here. Maidstone have definitely not been embarrassed here. I think for the level and the quality of squad they've got, I think they've held their own here. There's always going to be a tough place to come to because they're usually so good at this ground, Coventry. But they've really shown what they can do and why they've made it this far. There's a reason why they've got beyond the likes of Ipswich and Stevenage and Barrow, because they've got moments in them. They've got players of quality. Looks like it could be a sixth here. De Silva in the box. It goes all the way through, but it's held this time by Kovlan. Good goalkeeping there. Again, he wants to try and play it quickly. He'd love Maidstone to get that consolation goal, but I just don't think it'll be for the sixth tier side. And before we even hit the 3rd minute, as Kovlan took his fair time to clear the ball, the referee blows the whistle. And Maidstone's dream run in the FA Cup comes to an end at the last 16 stage. Coventry of the Championship were just slightly too much for them to handle, but they have really done themselves proud tonight. They have shown slight glimpses of why they've got to this point of the competition. But all runs must come to an end, and for Maidstone it's happened in the 5th round to Championship Coventry. As mentioned earlier on in the stream, before tax, Maidstone have already made £700,000 through competition prize money, which will take them so far, and it's probably the one thing that they'll gain the most from is the money, the financial gains. But they are beaten here at Coventry by 5-0. Maidstone did themselves proud. Great, thank you very much. Yeah, I think they did, especially second half. You got to remember, second half it was 0-0 until the end. Coventry only scored 2 goals in the 88th minute and the 92nd. So for pretty much the whole of that second half, it was 0-0. And they've only scored 2 late goals there, Coventry. So I think the second half they really did okay and just showed slight glimpses. But Coventry were still always going to have that extra quality ahead of them. And they've made that count. I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you like and subscribe. If you haven't already, commentating again on Wednesday in the FA Cup. It is Wolves at Molineux taking on Brighton to an all-Premier League clash there. But here from the Coventry Building Society Arena, Maidstone have come here to try and make it the first ever team out of these 5 top tiers in England to reach the quarter-finals. It wasn't meant to be, but themselves, as a personal history note, they have made the 5th round for the first time. They have travelled to the likes of Ipswich and Coventry and teams within, but unfortunately their run ends at the 5th round stage as here Maidstone are beaten 5-0. And here it is Coventry 5, Maidstone 0.